very quickly turn into a party. So we got our oil pan on. That's worth easily more than everything else that's going in the car right now. Everything's nice and prepped. Motor mounts are ready. Not a single nut to be seen, so good things are going to happen. And the trans puked out the rest of the oil, which is not the correct color, which is concerning. So we're going to run it anyway. Wish us luck. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we're jumping right into the Mustang. It is the end. We've blown up the diff, drive shaft, engine, and trans. It's time to LS swap this thing. Let's jump right into her. So, Mustang. This poor thing looks pink right now. Anyway, so. Yeah. Oh, good. That was watertight. So, that's what we have to work with. Exciting. So first off, today we're going to go ahead and remove pretty much all the AC, everything, because we no longer need it. I'm thinking I might hold on to some of these parts, because once we get this situated in here, I might actually put AC back in this car, but until we get there. So the plan is we are going to clean this up. That's probably off camera. Honestly, today I'm just going to remove some parts we don't need, some harnesses, and then test fit the LS. So ran by, we did oil it again. Before I actually fully install this, I am going to flip it over and oil the bottom end again so it doesn't start dry. But for now, we're just going to drop this in, make sure all these motor mounts are lining up, see how it's going to sit, see what the trans tunnel looks like if we have clearance. So let's get her situated in there, fellas. So, calling it right now, that prop just sitting there. Considering it's supposed to go up there where it says prop and an arrow. And I'm putting it down there where it doesn't say prop with an arrow. I'm assuming with the wind we're getting, just wait. Anyway, it's gusting. I'm gonna have a new hat and it's gonna piss me off, but oh well. Put the LS in here and hope it fits. Well, it was a bit of a struggle. This driveway is not the best to work with, but she's in. Oh! So now the most important reason why we're test fitting is we did go with motor mounts that we did not build. So I just want to double check before we have a trans hanging off here as well, if that's the route we go, that it's going to fit. Then my next thing is I have to test fit headers. So, this side's tight. This side is tighter, but it's not the worst. So next step, I'm gonna have to yank those down off the shelf and then throw those on. And then we are still running a truck oil pan, so I need to check the clearance here at the K-member. And clearly it's not too happy. And most importantly, just hype me up. So there's an LS in my Mustang, so that does it pretty good. So I'm gonna crawl under, make sure everything's looking nice and happy as far as the oil pan with like steering rack and stuff. So this is where we're at. This is how it's going. That's an LS in the Mustang. I'm gonna yank this out after I make sure everything's happy, and we do have to tape off and clean and paint the engine bay. Well, it's an exciting day, guys. Let's jump right into it. So we're ready to drop the engine and trans in, so do it a bit off camera. So here we have our engine bay. Gnarly tape lines, that didn't work out, so we're gonna have to go over these fenders. Honestly, I do have to repaint them next year, so this might stay for now. Don't worry about that, focus on that. So, AC removed. All this room for reach-ins. Everything's cleaned up and painted. For some reason doesn't look great, but there we go. That looks pretty good. Presentable, I'm happy with this. So, engine bay's prepped and ready to go. Our K members, we do need to drill some holes. We are gonna drop it in the first time without drilling any holes, just to test fit with our new oil pan. Over here we did manage to get our LS bolted to our 4L60. We do not have torque converter bolts, but other than that, everything is torqued up and ready to go in. So for the motor mounts, we just have to drop them down, drop in the rest of our hardware just so we can get lined up. We are gonna snug it down probably the first time. First off though, we do have to swap our oil pans. This has been a struggle. We are using hooker mounts. And when you run these, put an LS into the Mustang, we had a few options of spacing out the K-member, lifting the engine up about a ½ inch, but I got lucky enough and found the oil pan we need. Holley 302-3 in town. Shout out to my girlfriend. That was lucky. Apparently it was a long weekend too, so parts were non-existent, but we got our oil pan, so we're going to slam that in. The only issue we're going to have is the windage tray. We are going to have to cut that. The front quarter we're going to have to remove, so we will have to do some modifications there. And yes, before you ask, we went through 1 or 2 other oil pans to try and find the clearance. If this one doesn't work, we're modifying the car, but it should according to the kit, so probably should have got it at the first place. I didn't. My mistake. Whoops. Anyway guys, so jumping right into it. Helpers are showing up right away, and we're going to swap oil pans and drop in our engine and trans, and then we will have an LS swap Mustang. And then we'll have to make some trans cross members, so let's jump right into her. Good time to mention, sick cutting job, looks great, shout out. Clean as a whistle, which is good because it'll match that spotless bottom end on this junkyard motor. Wow. This thing's gonna have a mean rod knock or something, and I'm gonna be so heartbroken. So we slammed this on, put our new pickup in up there, right there, and then, why are we all giggling? Is this a game to you guys?
It's just, I'm waiting for the catastrophe to show itself.
Yeah, that's a trans.
Yeah, of course, the ticking time.
Right there, that's why. But our wire brushed the back for a brief moment, so that's good enough, so. This will either not fit inside the oil pan, we'll have to cut it and then redo everything, or it won't fit in there, so there's your catastrophe. I just want a car that has an engine. Someone rudely blew this up. Alright, slam her in. Very quickly turn into a party. So we got our oil pan on. That's worth easily more than everything else that's going in the car right now. Everything's nice and prepped. Motor mounts are ready. Not a single nut to be seen, so good things are gonna happen. And the trans puked out the rest of the oil, which is not the correct color, which is concerning, so we're gonna run it anyway. Wish us luck. So slam this bad bitch in and should be good. Should be good, right?
Yeah.
She'll run 9s, 10s, 10.5 seconds probably at 32 miles an hour. It's gonna blow up halfway down. Okay. Look at that pan though. She do look good. Can't wait to find out that doesn't fit either. This is our third or fourth pan.
Third.
Yes. Let us go and find out. So we got the big old LS in there. Intake fits barely. So gotta look into that because we're gonna have a bracket on there, but she's in there. Motor mounts nice and happy on either side. Scraped our paint, not too thrilled. So we got touched up a bit, threw the intake on, mocked it up. She sits pretty high, and unfortunately it's gonna rock a little more like that because this is our situation with the trans. So it's actually really close. It's like it was meant for an LS. So we will have to build this bracket. We are gonna keep using, I'm gonna choose to use the OEM 4L60 mount and just extend off the top of the cross member here. We'll have our dual humps for exhaust eventually, which is our next big issue. Still waiting for headers. 302-3 Holley oil pan does fit, so that's nice. That's the only one that you can get in Canada, and they aren't making them because of a certain virus, so that's fun. But she's in, it's official. This little Mustang is LS swapped. So our next steps is going to be throwing on all the accessories, the water pump and stuff. I got to clean up this engine because she's a little dusty and dirty. Then I have to find an intake for this because this one is not done yet. This is a new body style I'm shaving, and it's ported for a 92mm throttle body, and that is too much for this engine. So in stock form, that's the upgrade. That's not what's going on yet. That's probably our candidate right there. I will have to shave that down. So maybe our next episode we're gonna do that, run some fuel lines. But as she sits right now, whoo, that was a good looking engine bay. That's pretty much it. So next episode, start throwing her together, tidying stuff up, and we do have to do the trans mount and tranny cooler lines. Then we gotta get a starter, alternator, accessories, throw all that on, and then start buttoning her up. So the exciting parts are over. The next up is the technical boring stuff. And then we have to do control arms on the 8.8. Those are still lost in delivery. And then bleed the brakes, and we can throw wheels on and set her down. But for now, we're almost there. Drive shaft. We gotta do a drive shaft too. That's a thing. But that's pretty much it, guys. So we got an LS swap Mustang SN95. I'm pretty happy with that. So thanks for watching. Catching the next one soon. First fire. I'm excited. Let's do this.